Chairman, good afternoon. You all welcome to this.
Chairman of Interparty Advisory Council, who is here with us this morning, and your ESCO members that are present, chairmen and other leaders of political parties that are present, the Honorable Commissioners, National Commissioners of INEC, the Honorable Secretary to the Commission, the Acting Director General of the Electoral Institute, technical aides to the Chairman, directors and other senior officials of the Commission present, members of the INEC press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me first and foremost appreciate all of you for the time, despite the short notice, that you have made yourself available for this important interactive session and meeting. Therefore, it is both an honor and a privilege to welcome you all to this consultative meeting convened by INEC. Today, we gather not only to discuss the newly drafted INEC Regulations and Guidelines for the political parties 2026, but also to reaffirm our commitment to enhancing the democratic process in Nigeria. Let me use this opportunity to congratulate our Muslim brothers and sisters for the successful observance of the holy month of Ramadan and the celebration of Eid al-Fitr on Friday, 20th March 2026. May the blessing of Eid be unto us and our families, as well as peace, unity, and collective prosperity to our dear nation, Nigeria. This year's Ramadan coincided with the Lenten period, and to our Christian brothers and sisters, we commend your steadfastness as well. We meet today not merely as regulators and political actors, but as joint custodians of Nigerian democratic future. Early this month, the Commission commenced a rigorous technical retreat to review and reconstruct the Regulation and Guidelines for Political Parties 2022. You will recall that that guideline was made pursuant to the repealed Electoral Act of 2022. Today we share the results of that exercise with you. As I have often maintained, credible elections begin long before polling day. They begin in the transparency of the process that produced the candidates. As we are all aware, these regulations have been formulated under the powers granted to INEC by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, as amended, as well as under the Electoral Act 2026. They represent a significant review of the regulations made in 2022, now meticulously aligned with the recently enacted Electoral Act of 2026. We cannot navigate a 2027 horizon using a 2022 map. In particular, mention must be made of Section 93, subsection 2 of the Electoral Act 2026, which states that election expenses incurred by a political party for the management or conduct of an election shall be determined by the Commission in consultation with the political parties. Consequently, we would like the political parties to take special note of Clause 40, subparagraphs 4 and 5 of the draft regulation dealing with election expenses of political parties for the management of party primaries and for the conduct of elections. Therefore, the Commission has concluded a clause-by-clause realignment of our regulations and guidelines to ensure that they are not only legally aligned, but operationally in sync with the new Act. It is our hope that these updated guidelines will foster a more transparent, fair, and equitable electoral landscape for all the stakeholders involved. With the Presidential and National Assembly election fixed for the 16th day of January 2027, and the governorship and the state houses of assembly elections fixed for 6th February 2027, we are operating in a compressed timetable as a result of the reduction in the various timelines in the Electoral Act 2026, which demands what I call a surgical precision. Our review has been guided by the empirical data, specifically findings from the Political Party Performance Index, PPPI. This diagnostic tool, developed with the support of Westminster Foundation for Democracy, highlighted a disturbing gap between party constitutions and grassroots realities. The newly drafted regulations encompass crucial areas that are central to the operations of political parties in our democratic framework, including 1. Regulation and merger of political parties. We have streamlined the process to ensure that it is more accessible while maintaining a robust framework that upholds democratic principles. 2. Political party operations. Clear guidelines have been instituted to govern the day-to-day functioning of political parties, ensuring compliance with our laws and promoting accountability. This aims at sanitizing party primaries, which intends to end the era of opaque processes that imposes on popular candidates, fueling voters' apathy and a deluge of avoidable litigation. 3. Conduct of political party primaries. We recognize the crucial role of primary elections in our political system. Thus, we have outlined procedures that uphold the fairness and transparency within the political parties. 4. Conduct of political rallies, processions, and campaigns. Regulations have been put in place to ensure that campaigns activities are conducted peacefully and respect the rights and dignities of all citizens. 5. Finances and election expenses. We have also established clear standards regarding the finances of political parties, emphasizing the need for transparency and accountability in managing party funds and campaign expenses. 6. The registration of political parties. We have also included provisions that define the circumstances under which a political party may be deregistered, ensuring that the process is just and equitable. We have also embedded measurable benchmarks for the participation of women, youth, and persons with disabilities, PWDs. Distinguished party leaders, as we present these draft regulations for your input, I urge you to see them not as a restriction, but as a safeguard. By sharpening these rules, we are protecting the sovereign will of Nigerian people from the point of nomination to the final declaration of results. As we move forward, I further urge each of you to engage with these regulations constructively. This is an opportunity for us to create a political environment that not only reflects the aspiration of our people, but also serves as a testament to our collective commitment to democratic governance. Let us approach this consultation with the rigor our democracy deserves. INEC remains a neutral umpire, but we are no longer passive observers to the erosion of democratic values. Together, let us build an electoral ecosystem where the rules are clear, the playing field is level, and the outcome is beyond reproach. We value your insight and contributions. Let this meeting be a platform for open dialogue to address any concern you may have. Together, we can work towards a robust electoral framework that enhances the integrity of our political processes and uphold the democratic ideals we all cherish. I look forward to your constructive feedback. Thank you, and God bless our political parties. God bless INEC.
Let me also start by congratulating the newly registered political parties that are attending this meeting for the first time. You are welcome on board. Together we salvage democracy in Nigeria by the grace of God. On behalf of the leadership of political parties in Nigeria, I am honored to address this distinguished gathering of critical issues, if not urgently addressed, could undermine the integrity of our electoral process and jeopardize the success of the 2027 general elections. As a key stakeholder in the Nigeria democratic system, the Inter-Party Advisory Council, IPAC, is duly bound to draw both the national and international attention to evident shortcomings in the current electoral legal framework shortcomings that have the potential to impede, weaken, and destabilize our hard-earned democracy. Nigerians participated actively in the public hearing of the Constitutional and Electoral Act amendments, with the expectations that their contributions would eliminate in a progressive, inclusive, and people-oriented Electoral Act. Unfortunately, the Electoral Act 2026 falls short of these expectations. Rather than advancing our democratic journey, it represents a significant regression, one that must be urgently addressed in national interest. It is particularly concerning that the contentious Electoral Act formed the basis upon which INEC released the timetables and schedules for the 2027 general elections. This had inadvertently placed immense pressure on political parties, especially those outside government, thereby constraining their ability to effectively prepare and contribute to building a strong, inclusive, and stable democratic nation. In this regard, IPAC firmly demands that the National Assembly, as a matter of urgency, revisit and amend the Electoral Act 2026. Specifically, the provisions mandating direct primaries must be reconsidered, and the option of direct primaries restored, or indirect primary restored. The choice of candidate selection method remains an internal affair of political parties and must not be subjected to undue legislative interference. Furthermore, the requirement for political parties to submit their membership registers, including members' national identification numbers, within the limited time frame of 1st to 21st of April 2026 is impractical and exclusionary. This provision risks disenfranchising a large segment of Nigerians who lack access to new registration facilities. In the spirit of inclusivity and participatory democracy, this requirement should be expunged. Equally important is the restoration of the electronic transmission of election results after collation of polling units. Transition of results to the IREV should be mandatory immediately after results are announced at the polling unit and no proviso is required. This is a fundamental demand of the Nigerian people and a critical safeguard for electoral transparency. The challenges experienced during the 2023 presidential election serve as a reminder of the risks associated with lapses in this area. Such occurrences must not be allowed to reoccur. This, the Council reiterated at the recently concluded General Assembly meeting. It is also deeply troubling that the new Electoral Act appeared to weaken penalties for vote buying, an offense that continues to erode the credibility of our elections. IPAC reiterates its call for the establishment of an Electoral Offences Commission to ensure that violators are held accountable. Stronger sanctions will serve as deterrent and reinforce the sanctity of our democratic process. We have also taken steps by appealing to the National Assembly to urgently repeal the 2026 Electoral Act in the interest of credible and transparent electoral process. We are also calling on development partners to urgently deploy their diplomatic influence in the interest of sustainable democracy in Nigeria. Leadership in a democratic society must be anchored on integrity, credibility, and accountability. So it is imperative that we collectively sanitize our political environment and uphold standards that inspire public trust. The prevailing trust deficit and voter apathy will persist unless decisive steps are taken to reform the current electoral framework. The international community is closely observing Nigeria's democratic trajectory with high expectations for improved outcomes in the 2027 general elections. We must rise to this responsibility. As we look ahead to the Ekiti and Osun governorship elections, INEC must also demonstrate preparedness, professionalism, and technological efficiency, particularly in the deployment of beavers and the IRF portal. There must be zero tolerance for lapses. The credibility of the Commission is at stake, and public confidence hinges on the assurance that every vote will count. As the umbrella body of foreign star political parties, IPAC remains committed to its mandate of fostering political stability, promoting credible elections, and deepening democracy in Nigeria. We will continue to engage constructively in pursuit of democratic systems that guarantees fairness, inclusivity, sustainability, and national development. Thank you all. God bless you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria.